And the challenges that lie in front of us are immense, and I applaud you for that. And to Kieran, who I stood on doorsteps with both these fine candidates in the last few weeks, campaigning in Crumlin and elsewhere, and two better candidates we don't have. But more importantly, they won't always be candidates, because I've no doubt whatsoever that both of them will be city councillors when they open the ballot boxes on June the 8th. We'll have a fine, strong voice for working class communities like Crumlin on June the 8th, and they can lead the charge in City Hall for better housing, better funding, better services, better resources for communities in Crumlin, Kimmage and right across Dublin. And as you gather here today, and I hear the words of the proclamation, that proclamation in 1916 was a wholly radical proclamation, a radical statement of intent by Irish Republicans. The three opening words of the proclamation: Irish men and Irish women. For the first time, men and women were seen as equals in the eyes of the struggle. When you're ready there, Ian. Right. I saw off that competition. So, where was I? Well, I suppose in seriousness, that the proclamation was a radical document, a statement of intent on gender equality, socio-economic, cultural and a military vision of how to win that struggle. It looked outwards. It wasn't an insular document. It was an outward-looking document. It identified the supports that we have received from overseas. It was an internationalist view of the world. But unfortunately, we've never been in a position to implement the words of that proclamation or the first programme for government that was drafted in 1918. Because unfortunately, Republicans didn't win the struggle. They didn't win the Civil War. The counter-revolutionaries won the Civil War and chose to mothball those documents and bury them deep. But fortunately, Republicans in the Republican movement held on to them and continue to use them as their campaigning documents today. And over the decades, since the 1920s, Republicans have used different tactics. They've used different actions. They engage in armed struggle, prison struggle, community struggle, on the street, but never has our aims or objectives changed. We are clearly focused on victory. We are clearly focused on forcing a British withdrawal from this island and the establishment of a 32-county socialist republic on this island. Because otherwise, if we don't have an economy that serves the people of this island, we will only have an extension of the 26 counties. And I know people like ourselves and those who preceded us didn't struggle for an extension of the Free State. We are struggling for an Irish Republic that cherishes all the children of the nation equally. Regardless who you are, where you're from, how you got here, how long you're here, we will cherish each one of you. And we intend to establish an economy that caters for people from the cradle to the grave, through education, healthcare, housing and safe communities. That is our statement of intent. It was in 1916, it wasn't a programme for government in 1918, and it remains that in 21st century Ireland. And now we're at a juncture in our history. We only have to look 90 miles up the road when you see Michelle O'Neill, the First Minister in Stormont, a Republican, a nationalist, a woman. She was never to have assumed that role in that structure. The whole structure of partition was to exclude people like Michelle O'Neill. They never wanted her to vote, or to get a house, or to work, never mind become the First Minister. And during the peace process, when the British and the Unionist alliance decided to introduce Stormont, they did so not to allow somebody like Michelle O'Neill, but to exclude Republicans. Because the fools, they didn't think we would embrace the Assembly. The fools thought we would exclude ourselves, but we didn't, because we're revolutionaries. We look at it as an opportunity and see what we can get out of it. And we saw Stormont, we changed our constitution in order to access Stormont. And not only did we participate in the elections, we're now the biggest party in Stormont. And that's what has ensured Michelle O'Neill to be First Minister. We're now the biggest party in Stormont, we're the biggest party in local government in the 6 counties. That is historic. That is a major progressive step for our struggle. And that was done by the votes in the ballot boxes and the great contribution of Dublin Republicans made on the doorsteps of Belfast in the last 12 months. So you need to applaud yourselves for the role you have played in those victories. But we are not satisfied with simply victories on either side of the border. We now look towards the elections on June the 7th. They are essential. They're the next building block towards the Republic, because we want to send into Dublin City Hall a formidable force of Irish Republicans who will speak and stand up on behalf of their communities. And they won't take no as an answer. They won't take the dead hand of bureaucracy from the Customs House in an attempt to stop us building homes and communities in this city. Because there'll be enough of us in there who will overturn those bureaucracies to deliver housing and communities for our areas of Dublin. And in saying that, we also have European elections. And some people think Europe and Brussels is way over there. It may be way over there, but the long arm of Brussels has a huge impact on the quality of life of people right across this island. And this will be the first EU election post-Brexit. So our friends and neighbours and brothers and sisters in the 6 counties who were dragged out of Europe against their democratic will have no voice. But of course we will become their voice, because we will elect MEPs across the 26 counties to be a voice for the voiceless in the 6 counties. We'll be a voice for Irish unity, demanding a referendum. We will also cut through the bureaucracy that prevents us from building homes for people who so badly need them in this city. We will also be a voice for workers' rights and ensuring that there will be progressive directives introduced here from Europe to improve the quality of life and pay and conditions for workers. That is our aim and objective. And of course, we will also stand shoulder to shoulder with other people to demand a just and lasting peace in Palestine. The travesty that is going on in Palestine is unacceptable. The genocide is against international rule of law. And I welcome the Dublin government's decision to join with South Africa in the International Court of Justice. It is overdue. It should have happened weeks and months ago, but it has happened and we welcome it. What we want is that there needs to be an immediate ceasefire in Palestine, an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, lift the embargo, let international aid in, and let there be a peace process that allows the Palestinian people have absolute right to self-determination. Many people saw our own struggle over the year as being unresolvable, intractable, forever. It will continue to spiral, and many people's heads went down. But we were able to be part of a peace process that has delivered so far on this island, a peace process that is a gold standard for other parts of the world. We want to share that with Palestine. We want to work with international forces to ensure there's a peace process in Palestine that guarantees them justice, peace, freedom and self-determination for all Palestinians in Ramallah, in Gaza, in the West Bank. Everywhere there's Palestinians, they deserve to live in peace along with their neighbours. So in conclusion, as we look towards the next few weeks, folks, there's elections on the horizon. They're essential building block towards us assuming power as a government in this state, so we can really deliver for our communities. Every door, every letterbox needs to be wrapped and knocked and leafleted to deliver that. No job is too small, no job is too important, no role is too important. We all have roles to play in delivering a resounding victory at the ballot box on the 7th, and then later on when there's a general election. That this man here beside me who served this community for how many decades? 2.5, too many, says Ashling. Has served this community as a TD since 2002. This man, I would firmly believe, will become a minister in the next government if we win the general election. And that's what we need to aspire to. You can imagine the seismic shift in Irish and international politics if we have power in Stormont, power in local government, and Sinn Féin in central government. That would be a great day for everybody in Ireland, north, south, east and west, when the Irish unity and social justice and economic justice will be the central of any of our programme for government. So with that in mind, folks, I wish you well today. Enjoy the rest of the day, because it's back out tomorrow at 2:30. And then when you get a little bit of a break on Monday and on Tuesday morning, we're back out on the doors, back canvassing, back campaigning, back winning the election, convincing people in this community and communities across Dublin that a vote for Sinn Féin on June the 7th is the start of justice for our communities and rebuilding and taking them back from the private developers and those who'd rather build private housing which we cannot access. So that changes on Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock. Because we'll be out canvassing then, folks. So we want you all out next Tuesday and right until June the 7th, because we will celebrate on the 8th and 9th of June by scoring victories and getting these 2 people elected to City Council and hopefully meet to Europe. Go to Mila Morgan, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day, and dare I say it, Chucky our law.